We're going to sit on the title screen of Baba Is You for a moment so I can tell you a story before we go into the actual game, to what I expect will be a very long and very interesting Let's Play series. I would first like to express my extreme gratitude to RV Tekari, which I'm sure I'm mispronouncing, but for making what very well be one of my favorite video games ever. Baba Is You is a masterpiece. I enjoyed every moment I spent with this game, and I'm like tingling with the anticipation of bringing it to YouTube. So with that out of the way, I do need to tell a quick story about a good friend of mine. We were having a discussion about a little game you may have heard of called The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I was heavily critical of because the dungeon and puzzle content in that game was not up to my standards of what I think a Zelda game should be. I love puzzles, I love figuring things out, I love getting stuck in a game that I have faith in, that I know if I persevere, I will overcome the intellectual challenge ahead of me, and then my brain will release endorphins that make me feel good, and this is how I stay off drugs. And my friend pointed out, because he's a big fan of Breath of the Wild and he quite liked the dungeon content in that game, he said, "Brickroad, you've spent so much time and you've played so many of these puzzle games over your life. Do you think it's possible that your perception of what constitutes a good puzzle might just be skewed? That maybe the shrines in Breath of the Wild were fine for the average gamer and you just immerse yourself in a level of challenge that average gamers wouldn't like that much?" And I think about that conversation a lot as I play puzzle games now, especially Zelda games, and I thought about it hundreds of times as I played through Baba Is You, because the game has taken me hundreds of hours to complete. My first playthrough, 76 hours and change. This is the full hundo, every level in the game solved. I didn't use any help, I didn't use any walkthroughs, just pure perseverance and elbow grease. And then I did a second playthrough, knowing all the solutions from the first playthrough so I could write myself a cheat sheet for this recording, and that took 22 hours. So, if it is true that my tolerance for puzzles in video games are just a cut above what most people would expect or tolerate, I'm glad that there are people out there who will design a game like Baba Is You aimed at me and not at the masses. That being said, this is my favorite game in a very long time, and I'm delighted to bring it to you, and I want to give everybody the chance to go out and play it. Give it a try, download it on Steam, it's also on Switch. Before you watch me go through this Let's Play and go through all the solutions and talk about the philosophy of puzzle design in video games, which is going to be a topic that I will not be able to escape as I play Baba Is You. So, let's go ahead and start the game. We do want to watch the intro, why not? Many years ago, I was introduced to a topic called Gnomic. Gnomic is a type of game where the game is about changing the rules of Gnomic. And it's kind of, there are a lot of different ways you can do this. The way that me and my friends back in the day settled on is we had a web forum where we set up and we had like a list of rules that we had to follow. People would take turns proposing new rules to add to the Gnomic, and we would vote on them, and it was democratic. So the game was about changing the rules of the game, and in that sense, Baba Is You is a Gnomic. On its surface, it looks like this very standard block-pushing puzzle game, something like The Adventures of Lolo, and in a sense, it is. The entire game, you've seen the entire range of action. You just walk around. Actually, there's one other action. You could rewind all the way to the back of the start of the level. So mistakes are always reversible. You can never get stuck in that sense. But what you see around the map are these rules. The rules of this level are Baba Is You, Flag is Win, Rock is Push, and Wall is Stop. So all of the Like, if this were an Adventure of Lolo game, it would be kind of taken for granted. Oh, you push the rocks, you can't walk through the walls, and touching the flag is what wins the level, right? But let me go back into that level and actually walk you through the rules and the core gameplay of Baba Is You. So, you can pause the game and you can get a full list of rules. Baba is you, wall is stop, flag is win, rock is push. And the rules in the level are what make the level work. Wall is stop. Anything that is stop, I can't walk through something that is stop. See? But if I break the rule, now I can walk through the wall. Same thing with rock is push. I can push the rock as long as that rule is in place. But if I break the rule, now the rocks are not pushable. And more to the point, I could do something like this, and now wall is push. And now I can push around the walls. And what makes the game work is this pink rule right here, the you rule. Baba is you. Whatever is you is the thing you control, and if you break the you rule, first of all, a kind of existential dread sets in a little bit, like you feel it down in your bones. You can't move, you can't do anything until you hit the undo button. If you break the you rule, you're done. You're not you anymore. There is no you. You are gone. But Baba doesn't have to be you. Flag could be you. And now the flag moves around. And I can push this up and make wall is win and win the level. So the goal of every level in Baba Is You is to make a win rule. Something has to be win, and then the thing that is you has to touch the thing that is win. So in this level we have wall is stop, we have Baba Is You, and we have some disjointed words up there. Well, the first thing we need to do is break wall is stop. We can't do anything without breaking that to get across the walls. There's no other way to get around. And then we can build this rule. Flag is win. Now there are other ways I could go about this. Like I could make wall is win again. I could make wall, I could do this. I could make wall is you and then move around as the walls. That's kind of weird and creepy. Most levels have, at least in some sense, multiple solutions, but many levels don't. And that's where a lot of that 77 hours of initial playtime came in. Because this rule system is so robust and is so open to, look at this level. There's so many different things you can do to it. It means there's so many different things you can do within it. So in this level, wall is you, flag is stop, and nothing is win. Well, I can break this. Flag is stop. I've got a Baba here, but there is no Baba in the level. But you have to always, always, always be open to lateral thinking outside the box. In fact, there's one level you literally have to think outside the box to win the level. This level, of course, is not one of those levels. This is going to be a pretty simple, all I got to do is make flag is win, and we're good to go. But this level is teaching you, hey, you can't take anything for granted. As soon as you take for granted that you are Baba, the little, she's actually a little lamb. A female lamb is a you. Get it? Baba is you. But walls are unwalkable, that rocks are pushable. When you take any of these things for granted, the game has you. You're trapped. This level introduces you to a new concept. In the corner of the level, we have Baba is you, wall is stop. These are immutable rules. We cannot change those. They're walled off in the corner. There's no way we can get up there and push stuff around. We have rock is push and flag is win. And we have a new rule here, water is sink. Well, if something comes into contact with something that is sink, both that thing and the thing that is sink vanishes. So if Baba, who is you, i.e. me, jumps in the water and water is sink, Baba dies, and we have to rewind. And we can't make the water not sink because we can't reach the rules. But we can push an object into the water and sink it. But now we've only got one rock left. And this, I didn't get stuck on this level, but I imagine some people could if you're taking things for granted. Take for granted that water is sink and that walls are stop and all this other stuff. You might get trapped here thinking, how do I get to this flag without killing myself? And that's how you would approach this kind of puzzle in a game like Adventures of Lolo, a standard kind of block-pushing game, where the actual solution in Baba Is You is you're never going to reach that flag, but you can make the rock win, and that's how it's done. Every time, and I mean every time I thought this game was done throwing new concepts at me, it changed in such a huge way that I almost couldn't believe it. So we have Rock is Push, and we have Skull is Defeat. Boom, Skull is Defeat. If something that is you touches something that is defeats, then you lose. But we know that if you've been experimenting with the push rule, you can take something that is push and line it up, like so, and we can break the Skull is Defeat. Now Skull's not defeat. We can walk on the skulls all we want now. Now, if we could actually take this out all the way back here, if we were so inclined. Now Rock is Defeat. What? Or if we want to be really silly, and this is kind of getting advanced, but I could make a second rule up here. I could make Baba is Defeat, and if the thing that is you is also defeat, you lose immediately. And all of these are concepts that you get introduced to throughout the course of the game. What I've done is I went through the game a second time and completed the whole game, all the levels, and I made a cheat sheet of the solution to all the levels, even just these little introductory levels that we're going through really, really quickly, because I don't want to get stuck on one level for 7 videos or something. We have Baba is You, Rock is Push, Baba is Melt, Lava is Hot. We're going to have to experiment with that. We've got Flag is Win over there as well. Then we got Loose Lava. We can't do anything with Wall is Stop. It's immutable up in the corner. And we can't break this rule directly because it's the U rule. What we have to do is push it out of the way like so. So, if something that is hot meets something that is melt, the thing that is melt is destroyed, but the thing that is hot stays behind. So Baba is melt, so Baba will die if she comes in contact with lava, but this rock is perfectly fine because the rock is not melt. So, what we have to do here is I think there's a couple ways you could probably do this, but this one strikes me as the easiest. We'll just make lava push, and then we'll just push the lava out of the way. How about that? How about we do it just like that? Oh, okay, so I'm ecstatic to get to some of the more difficult levels in the game, so I'm going to burn these up pretty quickly, I think. We got Wall is Stop, Baba is You, Rock is Stop, Skull is Defeat, Flag is Win. So Skulls are Defeat, Wall is Stop. That rule's not immutable, though, so that's a pretty easy thing to start with. We can also, we're not going to get up here, though, because Rock is Stop, and there's nothing we can do to change any of those rules. They're surrounded by rocks. But, how about we change to Wall is You? Now all these walls can just get destroyed on these skulls, as you see. But as long as we have one thing left in the level that is you, this one wall that remains, we're good to go. And we got Grass Yard here. This is the last level in like the little tutorial area. So we've got Baba is You, Grass is Stop, and Flag something something Win. And you could see yourself getting stuck on this level if you still are in this mindset of taking things for granted. The game will never try to overtly trick or mislead you, but you can't let yourself get trapped. The solution to this level is there's no rule about walls. Walls aren't stop. It really is that easy. Grass is stop, but walls are not. So all we have to do to win this level is push this flag out. We can use this other is up here to make a second rule. And then push this win out. Flag is win. And now the flag is win. Done with the tutorial. So one thing that happens here is the finale level opens up. this level here, you can see we need 3 flowers. Every time we beat a level, we get one of these little daffodil things flies up there. And then every time we complete one of these areas, this first area is called the lake, we will get a flower. So after 3 completed areas, we can technically play the finale and win the game. And I'm sure lots and lots of people have done that in Baba Is You. But we're going to go for the full hundo. We're going to get all the everything. So here's my plan, is I'm going to play the game and not look at my cheat sheet, but if I'm stuck on the same level for more than 5 or 6 minutes, I will glance at it and move on with the level. This game has too many levels to spend forever. We have Jelly is Sink, up in the corner is immutable. We can't do anything with it. Wall is Stop, Flag is Win. Jelly is Sink and Flag is Win are immutable rules, but we can add to them. We could build something like Jelly is You if we had the text and we can get it up to that situation. And we've got our rule here, Baba is You and Sink. So Baba is both You and Baba is Sink. We can break that. We can make Sink go away. But Jelly is also Sink. So what we can do then is sink some text. That's the ticket right there. Because text is an object in the world that you can push around. It interacts with other objects. So we have Wall is Stop, Star is Sink, Rock is Push, Skull is Defeat, Baba is You, Flag is Win. And we've got a spare and here. So looking at this level, we're not going to be able to do anything. We're not going to be able to get through the walls. Wall is Stop is on the other side of the wall. We can't reach it. We sink in the star. That's no good for anybody. We can break that rule and walk over it, but the skull is in the way. Skull is Defeat, also immutable on the wrong side of the wall. The flag and the win rule are both outside, and there's also a crab out there. So if we're able to make Crab is You, we would be able to just walk to the flag. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to make Rock is Push and Sink. And this way, you know, we gotta do this with Star, don't we? Star is Push and Sink. Then when we push the star there, yeah, the skull and the star both are removed because one object was Sink and the other was pushed into an object that is Sink. Not to be confused with Boy Band NSYNC, which is one of my wife's favorites still. And then we can make Crab and Baba Is You. Now there are 2 U's. We demonstrated how you could have 2 U's in the level where we made all the walls U, but you can have 2 U's that are different things. And then we just have to go down to the flag without breaking the rule. And we're good to go. In each of these like little subworlds, there are a large amount of levels to play, and you have to play some number of them to clear the area. But you only get to complete the area if you complete all of them. We have Algae is Defeat, Love is Win, Love is Push, Baba is You, Kiki is Move, and our last ability is a Wait, where we can just make time pass without moving by pushing the button. So Kiki is another character in the game. Kiki is the game's villain, as we shall see. Kiki is almost always more trouble than he's worth. What we need to first do is break Kiki's move so he stops walking around. Move is a new rule, it just makes you move in a straight line, essentially. So we can't make an arbitrary win rule because this is here. What can we do? We can do this, actually. We don't need to worry about Kiki at all. Because remember, if the thing that is You is also the thing that is Defeat, you lose. Same thing if the thing that is You is also the thing that is Win. You win. So by making Love is Win, we can win the level immediately and not have to worry about Kiki. Shoutouts to Sarutka for sponsoring this video. If you liked the video and you want to see more, please tickle my thumb, leave a friendly comment, and ring my little bell.